Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Hashem Hakodash, and the honors to the apostles. Salakia. I'm sick, but yeah. The honors to the apostles and others great millstone. And salutations to the hopeful elect. And this is your brother. I'm Noah Allah from Gemma, Chicago, and this is gonna be a quick lesson about Israelite foreigners. Is what you would say. The speckled bird, are people looking like these other nations, And in this video, you can see here, there's obviously a lady, but she literally sounds like a so-called black woman, Now let's say, this screen was just black, You want to see a video at her at all, but if you just heard her voice, without seeing her, you would assume that is a so-called black woman talking, and what you're actually seeing here is that our people, when our people get with these different nations, whether it be the so-called white man or the so-called white woman, these Asian, the Japanese, Chinese, you name it, all these different nations, according to the Father, whatever your father is actually what you are, because the Father carries his seed, the Father is the one who created you through his seed, and I'm gonna just play this video, because you have a lot of examples, just like this woman that you be seeing from time to time. You would assume that somebody is so-called white, or that it's a so-called Edomite, when really, they're Jake the entire time. It's because it's through their bloodline. This
lady, she was my mom and my daddy, because on their birth certificate, colored, St. Tammany Parish, baby. Father, if you look at the top where it says state of Louisiana, color or race, age of father was 35, colored. Color, race of mother, colored. What you mean, baby? What's the problem? Don't get me started. I was already done with this, and I'm having a good time living my life and not having to answer to people like you. That's so ignorant that you don't think. So yes, both my parents are black.
And yeah, you got our people that can literally look like, these other nations, and it's the same thing with these other nations, A lot of these nations, they can also look like us, as what we would call tares according to the Bible, It's because these other nations, they mingle with our woman, and so, when the father, has his child, or when the father puts his seed in the woman, and the child comes out of the woman's womb, it'd be looking as if, like, it's as if it's like one of us, but really it's a tear. But nonetheless, I'm just go straight to the scriptures. John 7:24, it says, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." That's it. Yeah, judge not according to the appearance, and you got all these other camps, especially IUIC, which is a black only camp, that literally has no Israelite foreigners that looks like of these other nations in their camp at all. But these other camps are really just carnal, because they judge according to their appearance. When they see a person that looks like an Edomite, when they, when they see somebody that's light skinned, all right, they assume that it's an Edomite, but really, you never know, all right, where his bloodline goes back to, all right. But it says, but judge righteous judgment, because you got to remember, all right, there's a lot of our people that look like of these other nations. Numbers 1:18. It says, and they assembled the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared the pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. It says, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Going to that word pedigrees. It says Yalad. It says to bear, bring forth, beget, gender, travail. Really meaning, the bloodline. It says, and they declare the pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, showing that, the bloodline really just comes from the father, all right? Because, the father, all right, he has a seed, and then when he goes into a woman, all right, he, as what you say, busts, all right, he nuts in her, all right, and a child is being grown in her womb, all right, and whatever that child comes out to be, whether he looks like of these other nations, all right, no matter what, all right, whoever your father is, that's who you are basically. Even in these last days, or you're gonna have Israelite foreigners that are obviously gonna be looking like of these other nations, and then when they wake up to the truth, all right, Saki, when you see them come around, all right, you might just assume that they're automatically that they're an Edomite, but really, all right, you gotta really see through the spirit, right? Because you can tell immediately whether if that individual is a jik or not, right? It says Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And that's what you see a lot with a lot of these with our people. All right, they act like us, or you will see a so-called white man that acts like a Jake, straight up Jake that can really speak just like us, sound just like us, or has salt just like us, and really, at the end of the day, they are of us. All right, they are Israelites. And I'm gonna put Matthew 5, Matthew 5 and 14. Let's lock you. 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its favor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to cast out and be trodden under foot of men. But it shows you that our people are the salts of the earth. Alright, it says, ye are the lights of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. And our people are described as the lights of the world. All right, a lot of people you have a lot of our people that are good at everything, right? Whether it be boxing, right, football, basketball, right, the music industry. All right, our people are basically, all right, they're basically the salt of the earth. All right, everything goes well, when Jake is around, right? When you so-called blacks, Latinos, and the Americans are around, you people are basically like the best cooks. right? You know, it makes the white woman wanna leave their man and get with the J command, all right? But yeah, that was it. Lesson. Hope it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.